Okay, what's going on, everybody? You know who this be. Okay, nonetheless, lately in the world of Jugi-mans, the talk of the town has been Oricas. Everybody wants Oricas. You know, so much so forth that some people are paying top dollar for these things. Sorry, I kind of hit my foot, but anyways, people are paying top dollar for these things. I mean, people are paying $15 plus to $40 plus just for Oricas, and you know, yeah, they're cool, I guess. Everybody wants a dirty little hoe on their little Yu-Gi-Oh cards or whatever, but the thing is that Oricas, you know, you really can't use them in like big tournaments and stuff. And I don't know if your local hobby shop will let you use them in their tournaments. I think that the only time you can really use an Orica is, you know, when you're playing amongst friends and you're just like, boom, check it out, she's hot. But other than that, I mean, I really don't see a reason for people to be buying Oricas, you know. But nonetheless, if you really like Oricas, if you really want them, and you're like, nah, fuck this fat kid, I want my Oricas, then okay, go ahead and buy them. But if you're a crafty kid like I am over here, then you'll make your own Oricas. And if you guys don't know how, then I'm going to show you guys how to make your own Oricas today. I'm going to show you guys what I use. I'm going to show you guys how to make them. And, you know, so you guys are going to be able to make your own Oricas. You guys are going to be able to sell your own Oricas or do whatever you want, you know. I just don't think that you should be buying Oricas for $15. That's nonsense, you know. But hey, you do what you want, you live your life. You know, I can't tell you what to do and what not to do. I'm just simply saying that's my opinion. Rather than buy Oricas, make your own. You know, be creative. Okay, so before we get started, there's a couple things you're gonna need. Number one, you're gonna need some scissors, and you're gonna need some maybe an X-Acto knife if you want to cut out the little effect box and stuff. You know, so scissors and X-Acto knife. Other than that, you're also going to need some form of gloss paper. If you don't want to use gloss paper, hell, just use regular old printer paper. That should be fine too. And you're also going to need some image editing software. If you guys don't have like Photoshop or something, it's fine. Down at the bottom, in the description, I'm actually going to put a link so you guys can use Gimp, which is a great program. I use it all the time. And so, yeah, let's get started. First off, I just want to give a shout out to Demon X Ziori. This video is dedicated to him. He said he wanted to learn how to do these, so I'm going to show him how to make them, but I'm also, it's like beneficiary because I'm also showing you guys how to make them, like everybody else, so shout out to him. So anyways, what we got here is we have our canvas right here, which is 400 by 580. If you guys use Yu-Gi-Oh sized, it's going to be 2.4 by 3.6, and that doesn't work. It's way too small, so 400 by 580 is really good. So the first thing we're going to do is make the background, and what we're going to do is we're going to go to the paint bucket, and we're actually just going to drop it so it's all black. And then from there, what we're going to do is we're going to switch over, and we're going to select blue because we're going to be using that a lot. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come over here to this image right here. And by the way, these images and the other images we're going to be using, it will be on my photobucket. I put a link in the description down below so you guys can go get the things that we're going to be using today. So what we do is we just select it and we just drop it down over here. We put it right near in the middle, and if you guys want to center it even more, what you do is you push you go to the first layer, you push Control A to select it all, and then you go to the one you want to actually align, and you go to Layer, Align, Vertical Center, and then Layer, Align, Horizontal Center. So now that's right there in the center, and then you go Select and Deselect. yeah, select deselect. Okay, so after that, we're going to double click it, and we're going to go to outer glow, and we're going to give it a blue outer glow, like a good blue, like a bright blue, if you will. So right there, and we're going to make it a pretty good size, so I'd say that's pretty good, or right there, right about there. So okay, after that, we're going to duplicate the layer, and then we're going to push Control T, and we're simply just going to make another little circle, and that looks about right and centered. And we're going to do it again. So we're going to go duplicate layer. Okay. Control T. We're going to make this one a little bit bigger. That looks about right. And we're going to make, I think, 2 more. So, and be sure that you have plenty of space to work with too. And, that looks about right. So, this is what we're going to have. After that, we're going to go over here. We're going to create a new layer. Okay, so we should all have all this. We've created our new layer, and what we're going to do is we're going to go to our paintbrush, and this doesn't come with Photoshop, but I have a link to it at the bottom of the description. It's called Burst or Rising Sun. I forget what it's called, but we're going to use that a lot. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to come over here, and we're going to put it right in the center, and we're just going to click it, and then we're going to create a new layer, and we're going to use the same brush, but we're just going to use it a different color. So we're going to make it a lighter shade of blue. We're going to click again, but this time we're going to do it off a little to the left, so that way it's just a little off-centered. And then we're going to do it one more time, but we're going to do it with a lighter shade of blue, and we're going to do it on a new layer as well. So click OK. New layer. So this time we're going to do it a little more to the right, and boom, so there we go. Then we're going to create one more layer, and we're going to go filter, filter, we're going to go render, and we're going to go clouds. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come to over here, and we're going to try out linear dodge, and that looks pretty good to me. So far so good. Then we have our rose petal to work with, so we're going to select it like this, and then we're just going to drag it over here, and we're going to move it. Okay, if you guys want, you guys can definitely see what it looks like underneath the first cloud, and if you guys like that, that's cool, but I'm going to keep mine over it. So we're going to push Control T to resize it, and for right now that looks pretty good. So what we're going to do is we're just going to put a bunch of these all around the place. So we're going to go duplicate layer, and we're just going to continue doing this for a while. Okay, try to put them in as much random spots as you possibly can. Okay, so now we're going to duplicate it one more time, but what we're going to do for this one is we're actually going to push Control T again, and see how if I come over here to the corner it looks arched. Well, what we do is we're just going to twist it so it's this way, and we're actually going to make it just a little smaller. So now we're just going to do the same thing again with duplicate layer, and just keep doing that for a little bit, and that should do it. So there we go. Now we have our background ready to go, so we can add our Orica to it. Alright, so now what I got is things we're going to be using. So this is also available on my photobucket. It's the levels and the rankings, but today we're only going to use levels. I have Akiza herself, and then of course the Black Rose Dragon. So what we're going to do is we're actually just going to move Akiza onto this little canvas that we got going for. So all we have to do is just make sure that the that the move tool selected, and we just bring Akiza over here, and we're just gonna go over here, click on her, and then just drag her into the new canvas. Now, yeah, she's gonna be a little bigger, so what we do is just push Control T. I like to corner the images so it's perfect on the corners, and what I do is I just shrink them down like so, and that's all that there is to it. That's the whole move. So we're done with this. Let's close that out. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to put in the Black Rose Dragon name in the effect. So what we do is just click this little rectangular tool, and we just start selecting the name. Let's get a better selection of it. So, I mean, literally, that's all there is to it. You just do the same thing, you move it. For these, I know people like to get creative with them, but before we do anything else, what we're going to do is we're just going to shrink it down just a little bit. Okay, not so much, just a tiny little bit. So that looks good. Just push enter, and all we have to do now is just select the name and drag it right behind her. So you guys have it, you know. Now what we do is we need to move the effect. So what we do is we just come over here, and personally I like to get inside the effect. I don't like to get the whole border thing. So we're just gonna get this little area right here, and that looks about good. So we just get it, and now we drag it over here. Okay, now this does have to be above her though. So the effect always has to be above the Orica. You know, the name, I guess it's not a big deal, but the effect, you have to be able to clearly read it and see it, you know. So now that that's all settled, what we're going to do, since it has no borders and it just looks kind of boring, we're going to double click the name, and we're going to go to stroke, and you guys can choose whatever color you guys want. For the purpose of this, we're just going to leave it black. Okay, and there you guys have it, you know. Now what we do is we close this out, and we open up our levels, and we're going to, first of all, we're going to move this over here. We're going to move this more over here. And all we have to do is make sure that our rectangle tool is selected. And we're going to get the level 7 stars. And we're going to simply drag them over here. Okay, and there we go. Now you guys can leave it like this. You guys can do whatever you guys want. What I'm going to do is, first off, I'm going to close this. What I'm going to do is actually I'm just going to Control T them. And I'm going to shrink them down just a little bit. You know, not a whole lot, but just a little bit. Like, that's about good. So now remove them. And if you want them to pop out a little bit, you just double click their layer. And you go to, we're going to give this an outer glow. So now it looks like they're popping up a little bit. And, you know, from this point, all you have to do is go File, Save As, and wherever you're going to save it, make sure you just save it as a JPEG image. You know, and just name it whatever you want. You know what, whatever you want. And that's really all you have to do. Then you just save it. You know, and that's it. That's the whole thing. You know, once you're able to, you know, once you have a solid idea of how you can make these things, you know, you're just gonna have an endless amount of them. You know, you're just gonna be able to do so much with them. For example, I mean, I haven't done all these just yet, but there's a lot that I have done. You know, my finished cards, I mean, I've done all these, and then I've done all these freaking Black Rose Dragons, you know. I mean, I do Black Rose Dragons so much that I even have a border or a background already complete for it, and I have just a file for it, so I can just, it's so much easier for me to do it. And that's the thing, you guys should always be organized with your Oricas, you know, and pretty soon you guys are going to be able to take things like this, you know, and you guys are going to be able to add your own twist to it and make something like this. For example, I like Pokemon, so I incorporated Pokemon right into it, from the level, or from the attribute to the levels. It's all poked out, and you know, it's just my own twist to it, you know. So that's really it, you guys. That's all that it really takes to make an Orica. You guys should have fun, get creative with it. I'm gonna make another video using Oricas with backgrounds, and I mean, that's it. You know, thank you guys for watching. Rate, comment, subscribe. You know, give me shout outs, whatever, you know. And I'll be making some more, so you guys should be on the lookout for that. I'll be making some using the Gimp program. So again, thanks for watching, guys.